When people get arrested, the first thing that comes to mind is, oh my gosh, I'm going to jail. I may have to spend significant amounts of time in jail. And what they often forget about is the enormous amount of cost that can be associated just with getting arrested and going to court, even if the charges against you are dismissed. And today I'm going to talk about what some of those costs are. Okay, the first cost that's associated with getting arrested is paying a bond. When you get arrested, a bond gets set on your case. For misdemeanors, it's $1,000. For major offenses, it can be as much as $50,000, $100,000. 10% of that has to be paid to a bail bondsman to get you out of jail. Now, that's not a fee you can pay while you're in jail, but I'm assuming the person who pays that for you will want to be reimbursed that money. So that's your first cost that you're going to have to pay out of pocket associated with getting arrested. All right, the second cost associated with getting arrested are attorney's fees. Now, for a smaller misdemeanor offense, you're looking at least $1,000, maybe as much as $10,000, depending on the offense. And for major charges like a murder, you could be looking at as much as $100,000 in attorney's fees. So that's just a charge just so you have legal representation in the court with you. All right, the third thing associated as far as costs with getting arrested is court costs, fines, and restitution. Now, oftentimes when the DAs bring charges against someone, even if they agree to dismiss it, they will want the defendant to pay court costs, the cost of them bringing the charge against a defendant. And that can often be $200 to $800 or $900. Then a fine, if you agree to plead guilty to something, even if you don't go to jail, you can pay hundreds, if not thousands of dollars as part of the fine related to that agreement. And finally, restitution. If you've damaged someone's property or stolen something, oftentimes as part of that agreement, you will have to pay restitution back to that victim, the amount of the damage or the stolen item. So that's the third cost associated with getting arrested. The fourth cost associated with getting arrested is probation and everything related to that. If you enter a plea of guilty, you may not end up going to jail, but you're on probation. Well, you have to report every month to a probation officer, and you often have to pay $40 to $50 a month just for the privilege of being on probation. And that doesn't even include the cost of an ankle bracelet or an interlock device on your vehicle, and those can often run into the hundreds of dollars a month just for the privilege of not being in jail and being on probation. So that's the fourth cost associated with being arrested. So today we've covered the four costs associated with being arrested, and remember, this is cost that doesn't have anything to do with the potential jail time that you're facing. When you get arrested, you may be facing a few $1,000s in cost to as much as hundreds of thousands of dollars, depending on your charges. My name is Jed McKeehan, and you can watch more of my YouTube videos on other legal topics, or you can check my website out at attorney-knoxville.com, or I'm also on Facebook and Twitter.